By the community, for the community. 97.3 BGfm.
In the studio with me today, we have Gus Rogers, and he's here to talk to us about Tang Soo Do.
There
we go. So, Gus, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us why you're here to talk to us?
Okay, so my name's Angus Rogers. People call me Gus, which is fine. I've been teaching Tang Soo Do in the Ebervale and Brimau area for the last 8 years, and I've been practicing for about 20 years. The reason I'm on the radio is because every year we have a big regional competition, but the area changes. So sometimes it's in Cambridge, sometimes it's in Birmingham, sometimes Bristol. This time it's going to be in Wales, and it just so happens to be in the Ebervale Leisure Centre. And I just thought it was a big event that a lot of people won't know about, but there will be 400 competitors from all around the Tang Soo Do clubs coming to compete, and it's a big deal. And also it's a good showcase of what Tang Soo Do is, because as you've pointed out, it's not a very common name in the martial arts world, even though it's one of the oldest martial arts.
Okay, so if people want to come to the tournament, how do they get tickets, and how do they find out more about the art/club online?
So there is a club in Brimau. I have my own studio in the Noble Square Industrial Estate, MP23 4BS, right next to Dolette Carpets, and I have classes there 4 times a week. So we're really trying to showcase this event to say that there's a class here if you're interested in it. If people want to come to the events, they need to get tickets, so they can contact me. And again, my details are at the club. You can call me on my telephone number 07815 518 049, or send us a message through our Facebook or website. But like I say, the tournament is one big event showcasing everything, but the clubs are small then, trying to develop self-defense, self-confidence, and self-improvement.
You was telling me earlier about the capacity and how many people are competing. So would you like to give the listeners an insight into how big it is?
Again, the Leisure Centre got built about 5 years ago now, and it's a huge venue, and it's a very big venue. If you've ever been in the hall there, it's massive. But I personally don't know about many events that are held there, and a big martial arts tournament is something that doesn't come around every day. So I was saying that they have seating capacity for 800 people. So if you'd like to come see a tournament, a very different kind of tournament of high-level martial artists, like I say, the best martial artists who do Tang Soo Do in the country will be there performing. And then sometimes you see a tournament like that and you go, well, I'd like to give that a go. And it's a good in, because again, for the hardest part about martial arts is all the people who have ever started my class have gone, oh, I love this. I never knew I would love this so much. But they've got to walk in and try it. Like I say, I can talk all I want on this radio station. I can make as many videos or posters about it. But until you walk in and have a go, you don't know if you like it or not. So my classes, we have the first lesson free. So if they'd like to come along on a Monday, a Tuesday, Thursday or Sunday, we have classes you can try out. And again, all the details are on the website or Facebook.
Yeah, would you like to tell us our website?
So the website is www.walestangsudo.co.uk, and we have classes in Brimau, but if you're outside the area, we also have classes in Cwmbran, Abergavenny, Blanavon, then further afield in Newport and Cardiff. So there's plenty of clubs around for everyone, but this is the closest to this radio station.
So how is Tang Soo Do different to other forms of martial arts?
Okay, number one, I'd like to preference this because I don't need to downgrade other martial arts. Basically, I did Tang Soo Do because Tang Soo Do was the local martial art in my town when I was growing up in Blanavon. So that's the club I went to, and that's how most people start a club. My advice for anyone trying out any martial art is it's not so much about the martial art, it's about the instructor and about the club atmosphere. One of the couple of things I like about Tang Soo Do and I put forward to people is that it's more about self-development than against an opponent. So even though I'm advertising this competition is here to basically come together and be part of something bigger than like yourself or a small club, feel a part of a big organisation. It's very good because then the students have the opportunities to go around the world and train with different people and sort of go to clubs and meet people. It's great travelling opportunities, so there's that. The other thing is it's a family atmosphere, so a lot of martial art clubs have adult and children classes separately, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that, but my class has a family atmosphere where if you have a son or daughter, you can train together, and like I say, there's not many activities that you can do parent and child, where you're both getting something out of it. So everyone trains together, and then we have discounts for families. There's that. There's also the thing of, we have, in my opinion, a very good belt system where it starts very gentle, no contact, no adversity, and as you go up through the belts, there's steady adversity, but also developments to build confidence, which is great. And my advert to people who are like, oh, I don't know about martial arts, I'm not a violent person, this is my sales pitch to those people, is that how would you like an hour and a half or 2 hours of the day where you forget about your day, forget about the stresses and the worries and the things that run through your head at 1,000,000 miles an hour. You do this training which releases serotonin and natural endorphins. You forget about everything, you get a good sweat on, you get a workout, you feel physically active, and afterwards you go back to your regular life and you feel better about it. And that's true of anyone. You just, your mind, we call it mushim in Korean, is empty mind throughout the training, because you're concentrating so much, you're not thinking about those things that were bothering you all day. So, and again, you know, we do things like hit pads, I call that impact therapy. You know, we do stretching, which is obviously good for your circulation. We work on breathing, which helps with tension. So there's lots of good aspects there. But in terms of how it's different to martial arts, all martial arts give this. I would just say Tang Soo Do is what I've come into, and it's got a lot of elements that help people to development. So sorry if that's a long answer.
No, it's fine. So you've touched on who can do Tang Soo Do, but who, like, do you need to be athletic?
No, not at all. In fact, the great thing is about it is you could have someone who's physically fit, and you can have someone who's never done any fitness, but because the skills are so unique, like not many people do kicks or rolls or throws or locks. You don't do that as part of any other sporting activity or workout. Everyone is equal when they start. So there's basically 4 levels of learning, and this goes for learning anything. The first level is, before you walk into the class, you have the subconscious incompetence. Basically, you don't know that you can't do it. So you walk in and go, I don't know if I could do this martial art or not. And then in your first lesson, you quickly get the quick lesson of conscious incompetence. You now know you can't do it, which everyone comes into, which is kind of nice because you start afresh. I was not athletic when I started. In fact, I suffered from dyspraxia, which is a coordination difficulty. It's one of the reasons why I learned drums as well, to help with my coordination. So I was terrible. Everything took me a long time, and I had to go through things over and over again. But then, and this is the nice thing about martial arts, which I see with all my students and everyone I've ever trained with, there is a level where it goes from the incompetence to the conscious competence, which means that you can do it, but it's really difficult. And it takes you time, and you really have to think hard. And then we go back to that thing of empty mind, because you're working so hard. And then eventually, when you get to the black belt level, which I am myself, you start to experience, not all the time, but sometimes, this subconscious competence, which the main metaphor people can think about is driving. People drive all the time. They drive from one place to another. They don't know how they got there, but they didn't crash. They did it without thinking. You tie your shoelaces without thinking. You lock your door without thinking. And the martial arts eventually will get to this thing where you don't know you're doing these amazing things, which is, I see, if people train long enough, 2, 3, 4 years, you get to see, which again is a wonderful achievement for everyone. And then what I try and promote is those transferable skills out in the real world. So for example, a lot of people have this idea of like, oh, I can't do it, or oh, I'm too out of shape, or I'm too old. And then they do the martial arts, and I go, well, look, you said you couldn't do it, and now you can do it. So maybe you can take that attitude out into your everyday life. And I am a big proponent to say that all the good things that have come from my life is because I started doing Tang Soo Do when I was 13. Before I did Tang Soo Do, I would hate homework. I would even hate making friends. I would hate going out. And Tang Soo Do gave me the confidence and the belief that, well, it's not as bad as being hit in the face, or it's not as bad being thrown to the floor. So just get on with it and do it. And it stops the procrastination. It makes you have just do it. It's easier if you just do it. So I think a lot of people need that in today's society.
Yeah, that's good. Also, you've touched upon as well the physical and mental benefits. But how about like long term? How does it affect your physical well-being and your mental well-being long term?
Okay, so there is the mental side first, which is something that fascinates me. I was told when I was younger by my parents that the breathing in martial arts will help you to think better. That's what they said, and I just go, okay, that's fine. But tests have now been done on age groups of all ages, so young people, people in their 20s, and people who are older. And they put them on a martial arts program for 6 weeks, And in that 6 weeks, their cognitive brain, and that's the ability in your brain to learn new skills, doubled. So whatever it was before, at all ages, it doubled from doing programs like martial arts where you're doing cardio and strength and thinking about a problem. So not just running or lifting weights. And then the interesting thing was that within a month of stopping the training, their cognitive ability went back down. So again, I feel that people are able to learn new problems from doing martial arts. So that's just one side of the mental thing. Obviously, I touched on the building your self-confidence and your self-belief in yourself. Again, an old saying is martial arts teaches you who you are and also teaches you that you can rely on yourself, which is good. And then the physical improvements are, I always tell this story, we had a student come in who had never done any exercise, was really into his computers and computer programming, and he was about 24 stone. And he said that he didn't think he could do it. I said, look, just do what you can. Within the first 3 months, he lost 6 stone. And then over the year, he lost 10 stone. And now he is a red belt, which is a quite high up belt. It's the belt before they go into the black belt procedure. And he can jump kick and spin kick and do amazing things. And it wasn't like he was young either. He was in his late 30s when he started. And we have lots of students who start with their physical ability being no exercise, no stretching, not being able to touch their toes, not being able to do a push-up, not being able to kick above their knee. And then just within the first 6 weeks, especially in the first 6 months, I always call it like, you have a relationship, the honeymoon period. It's the honeymoon period of training. You a quick ramp up from being able to do nothing to be able to do these kicks, do these punches, do these, be able to spar, be able to defend yourself. It is a huge jump up. And then if you keep working hard at it, the trajectory will keep going up.
Yeah.
Physically and mentally.
Yeah, that's an amazing story, that is. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just in terms of, I like to tell this story. It's one my dad actually told me, and it's something that people can think about martial arts to leave you with. So they say the tournament, just to give you the date, is on the 17th of November. If you'd like to get tickets or you're interested in coming to a class to see if you'd like to join, you can come see me. But my story to finish is a story about happiness, which is what I think all people want to be. The story goes that short-term happiness is very intense but very short. So, for example, when you have a chocolate bar, you feel really good about yourself, but then it goes away quickly. It could be a night out, it could be a nice meal, it could be a roller coaster, but very intense but very short. We all crave that, but it's very short. Then there's midterm happiness. Midterm happiness is going to school. Go to school is great, but it finishes. Have a job, it's great, but it's going to finish. Even if you have a relationship, a friend, or a romantic relationship, it will at some point level out to not be as intense as it was. And then my dad told me that long-term happiness is a garden. Super slow, super boring in chunks, but the more work you put into the garden, the more the garden will grow, and it'll never stop growing. So I realized that martial arts and Tang Soo Do is my garden. I put in things to Tang Soo Do and I get benefits out of it in small chunks, but those benefits have never stopped over the last 20 years. And I'm excited now about doing martial arts as I was when I was 13. And there's very few things that people have that are like that. And then they wonder why they're not happy in a long-term way. Why aren't I happy? And it's because people concentrate too much on the short-term happiness and don't appreciate the mid-term happiness and don't have any long-term happiness. So again, I'm not saying that martial arts is for everyone, but I think everyone should at least give it a go. I also do one-off self-defense courses. So if you work somewhere or you have a group, you can book in for a one-off self-defense course with me. I can arrange that. And I also do private lessons for people who might not be able to make the classes. But for everyone out there, come check out the dojang. I think everyone needs some sort of physical activity in their life. And some people travel all the way to Newport or Cardiff just to go to the gym. Sometimes the conditions aren't great. And my gym is a fun, friendly, welcoming atmosphere where, people aren't going to punch you in the face in the first lesson. People aren't going to try and get one up on you. Everyone is very supportive, and I think that is a nice atmosphere for people and a nice social thing to do in the evenings.
Okay, thank you, Gus. So, just a reminder, the tournament is on November 17th, and you can check out Gus's Facebook page at Heads of the Valley's Tang Soo Do Club. What's the name of the website?
Website is www.walestangsudo.co.uk. But if you just type in Tang Soo Do and Wales, it'll come up. If you search for us on Google, you'll find us.
Okay, thank you very much for coming in, Gus.
By the community, for the community. 97.3 BGfm.